Grab a cup of joe, buckle up, and let's embark on a journey of self-discovery, creativity, and entrepreneurship. Let's get rolling. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rhythm of the Road podcast. I'm super excited to have my guest on today, and it has been a journey. So as we talk so often here on the Rhythm of the Road podcast in terms of we have to just kind of be consistent and persistent, and sometimes we hit obstacles and we push on through them. And our meeting today is that picture perfect story, so to speak. So I'm welcoming Mr. Motivation, Shaun Murphy, onto the podcast today. Welcome, Shaun.
Peace, Jeremy. Good day. Shouts out to the listeners and viewers. Super excited to be here, man. Hello.
So we were chatting about kids already this morning, and you have some exciting things coming up. As we're recording this, it's actually Halloween. It's going to be a couple weeks before listeners and watchers are going to see us, but Halloween's one of those special times that, depending on the age of your kids, they get really excited. My kids are a bit older, so they get maybe a different kind of excited for Halloween, and especially on a Friday night. So we'll see how it plays out for us. But I'm super excited for you because you got some littles. And, as we talk about being on the road, and you're a musician and speaker, and sometimes making those long hauls home to make sure that we arrive for our kids and our family, like that's always been at the center and heart of when I'm been on the road. And so tell me a little bit about that for you, Shaun.
Yeah, well, speaking of on the road, I just got off the road. So I'm currently living in Massachusetts, about an hour from Boston. And previously we moved from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So historically, the kids go to a neighborhood out here with their friends and trick or treat. And that's just been an every year tradition. So my wife's like, we got to go back to PA. So I'm like, 6 hours to trick or treat? Okay. The kids are super excited. So I just powered through a torrential downpour. I think we left at 2 a.m. I'm like, I got to get situated to be ready to talk to Jeremy. So it was all the things. Then I get tired. I pulled over, took a 30-minute. But all that to say, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we have to show up for our kids. And nothing warms my heart more than to see them happy. And especially for them to be breaking bread and just building these foundational relationships with their friends early. So I'm super excited. Outside of that, Halloween means nothing to me. But the kids love it, so I'm excited for it. So yeah.
I love that. And so since you are in PA and you're in Lancaster, and I have friends who live in Lebanon, so not very far. Nope. And so she will be proud of me. So it's supposed to be Lancaster, not Lancaster. Is that correct?
You're right. They say, was it Lancaster, something like that. Lancaster. Yeah, and it's so funny. So now I'm in PA and I'm in Mass, and I'm near a city. It's spelled Worcester. So you would probably say Worcester, but it's Worcester. So I moved from these cities and these names, and they want to fight you. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. It's easy, Brooklyn, But I respect it all.
It's funny. I had to say that. She's going to watch this video, so she'll get a laugh out of it, and I appreciate you coming along the ride for me.
Yes, sir.
You just got off the road. Is this a speaking tour? Is this a music tour? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so right now, no, this is actually personal time. I'll tell everybody that's in the business doing, big things, you gotta, I tell my kids, my present to them is being present, right? I'll share a little bit with the listeners and viewers about myself. Brooklyn, New York, my mom's from Barbados. When I was born, I always say I was born with 3 strikes: a black dude, born into poverty, and born without a father. My father opted out early, and at age 6, I lost him to gun violence. Now, that was my start, right? So statistically speaking, I shouldn't make it, right? Growing up in the hood, in poverty, my role models were these drug dealers. I was like, wow, they got all the nice things, they got all the cars, but then they disappear for these months at a time. And then I'm like, oh, they got locked up. Then, they get murdered. Somehow, I don't want no parts of that route. So you got to figure out, like, where you going to find, like, who you want to be like, right? Someone that never liked reading and writing. I was good. I just hated to do it. Now published author. I published a book in May, Unbreakable Valor: Triumph Through the Soul of Resilience, where I talk about just like the 5M formula for success. It's about mindset, motivation, money, not chasing money, but chasing your purpose, allowing yourself to receive, but leading with giving. Management, you're the CEO of your life. And
Mhm.
massive movement. A lot of us, we kind of sitting and waiting for Superman, but you are the superhero of your story. So you got a massive movement. Don't just move slow, move at a fast pace. And I talk about chasing failure. Failure is like the greatest teacher, right? What happens when I fail here, I fail there, I fail there? I have 3 data points on what didn't work. Now I can pivot, reevaluate, and kind of go in a different direction. So that's one of the chapters. Another chapter speaks about being anchored in faith, right? Faith is moving at a pace where you don't see what's. It's like believing the invisible and also believing the impossible, right? A lot
Mhm.
of times people, well, how are you going to do it? No, just want to do the thing and just
Mhm.
push forward in that direction. You know what I'm saying? What happens, you got to be in alignment with the universe. You got to be in alignment with your energy, and you have to develop that delusional self confidence, right? So another thing, I was a college dropout. I dropped out of college. I went, partied, had a 1.7 GPA, 2 years, and about $50,000, $60,000 in debt. And fast forward, now I'm a college professor. I teach a course on how to be successful in college for first year students. I'm getting them to, just power through, embrace the transition, and then even be prepared to go next level. So I share a lot of that just to ground us in we're all where we're at, right? We may
Mhm.
not like our circumstance, we may not like how things are, but it doesn't matter where you are. That doesn't dictate where you can go, right? You just got to decide it's time for change. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want to do better. Then you figure out who do I need in my space to help me get there. I always say
Mhm.
conduct a friend and family audit, friends and family, because some of them are toxic and they gotta
Yes.
go. You know what I'm saying? And you got to tell them exactly what you need from them. Jeremy, I need you to be my accountability partner. Bobby, I need you to just cheer me on, because the journey, we talk about the journey, right, Jeremy? The journey is long and it's up and down and up and down. And you're gonna
Mhm.
have those days where you want to quit and you need somebody pouring into you. I'll share this. I always say you need a SEAL team six. 6 people on your team that's going to help you go next level. You need the doubter. This is the devil's advocate. This is the person that, we get bright ideas. We just want to go. Well, the
Mhm.
doubter highlights your blind spots. You know what, Jeremy, did you think about this? Well, if you do that, that's going to happen. That's not favorable. They highlight these things. Then you have the instigator. This person keeps you fired up, inspired to keep going. You have the example. Who do you want to be like, Jeremy? Who's the person doing it at a high level that you want to get to? Right? Study that person. Reverse engineer what they did. It may
Mhm.
be I have a lot of virtual mentors myself. Then you have the taskmaster. This is your accountability partner. I say you need someone to check in with daily, weekly, monthly. Where are we at with my benchmarks? Where's our pitfalls? How can we do better? Who can help us get through this, right? And then the last two, the cheerleader. This is the person that loves anything you do. You need this person
Yeah.
because it's a tedious journey, and you're gonna get no's and you get failure, and closed doors, and you're like, oh, why am I doing this? And they're like, Jeremy, that was amazing, and you probably thought that post that you just did was trash, and they pour into you. And
Mhm.
then lastly, I think really important is the connector. This person gets you in the rooms you can't get in on your own. This person talks about you and advocates for you when you're not there. So these are 6 people I think you should have on your team. Identify them, tell them what you need them to do, how you need them to show up, put them to work, and then you get to work. And then that's how it starts from where you're at to where you want to be. That journey begins.
I'm just unpacking that for a second in my brain. Because I love that SEAL Team 6 imagery. I
Mm-hmm.
talk about it in terms of having your inner circle. Like it's a tight
Mm-hmm.
group and we
Mm-hmm.
weed out the garbage,
Yep.
whether it's family or friends or colleagues or business partners or what like we're only letting those small amount of people. And I like that there's alignment, because I usually say 4 to 6 people is like, that's who you need.
That's it.
And
Mm-hmm.
then everyone else, they get different kinds of access to you, and or you have different needs that you might need from them, which is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I like the SEAL team reference. You don't send a whole battalion in to trying to topple a government. You send 6 people in the night. They get dropped in and they go handle the business, and you don't even know they were there.
Right. And I think that's so interesting, like that parallel. And, I have a few friends that actually were our next ex Navy SEALs. Wow. Words are tough. And, they just talk about that and the parallels between that experience and that level of training and intentionality parallels business and growth in
Check.
whatever your journey is as well, not just business, but can be personal.
Mm-hmm.
And being so, you don't have to be the big, loud, you don't have to have 10,000 people, right? But
Mm-mm.
if you had 5 people that had your back in whatever capacity that would be, you can grow that much faster.
Check. Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
So as you've been building your journey,
Mm-hmm.
what are a few markers along the way where maybe you hit a stumbling block and you didn't know how to get through, and maybe those folks couldn't help? What did that experience look like?
So two things. I would say when I dropped out of college, but I kind of stumbled into the military, and that took its course. I'd say this: I've always been one that knew the next 3 steps. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I'm like a visionary. I'm like, all right, if this happened, this don't. I got to back up. Well, I prematurely opted out of like the military. I think in hindsight, I didn't take it seriously. Let me phrase it. Let's tell the story. So, E6 promotable, on the cusp of going to E7. I had to decide, do I stay in and see if I get promoted? That was in January. I opted to, at this time I was leadership in the admin office, right? They call it S1. Military was changing over, bringing in civilians to take over the leadership role in the S1 office. And I was
Oh,
like, okay, you know what? This might not be a bad thing. I can transition out and be a civilian and then run the shop. I thought my social capital was more than it was. Okay, so I know everybody. Everybody knows me. I get out, but what I did factor in was like I probably need like certain requirements for this role. I had maybe an associate's degree at this time and 8 years service. And Jeremy, I get out and they like, so that didn't pan out. Then there was a hiring freeze on all government jobs, and I'm getting like 10, $12 an hour job offers. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? I'm going to spend 8 years in the Army. It got to account for something. And this is when I write the book about just my story, just by itself. This is the Blue Funk chapter. I was just so, and then parallel to that, I used to do promotions and parties. And I wasn't the money guy, though. I was a logistics guru. And again, social capital. People want to party with Murph. So it worked out. But now I'm like, the promoter guy, but I'm like broke. And I'm like really broke. So I just can't even go outside. Like I feel so like a fraud. And I stayed in the house for like 30, 60 days. I did some substitute teaching to just offset the bills. But hating life, Jeremy. And I had to sit still and I thought about my moms who came here from Barbados, whose mother is illiterate, whose father is illiterate. My grandfather was a fisherman. My grandmother sold what he brought in from sea in the market, and she came to the U.S. with less than what I had at that point, even though I was still in the struggle.
yes.
And she made it work, Jeremy. She figured it out. She gave me the chance to be on the trajectory to be successful in life. I said I gotta figure this out. So you gotta. I'll share listeners and viewers. What my point is, I had to lean into my why, right? I got my why, and my mom's was everything. Oh, there's a quote: "All that I am and all that I ever will be, I owe to my mom's." Gave it all up for me to get where I'm at today, and I said, you know what? I could go to New York. I'd rather struggle in New York. Some people run away from New York. I'm going to the beast. I packed up a U-Haul. I had three bedroom house put in the storage I couldn't afford. Ended up losing all of that. But I went to New York and started over. And here's another story. And this is another probably nugget. I worked as a glorified mailroom clerk at NYU. We accounts payable. We paid everybody from the janitor to Spike Lee. And I got there and this piles of invoices. It was just kind of crazy. And what I did, Jeremy, and this is work ethic. I went to everybody in that shop, on the floor. I said, "What happens when the mail comes from me to you?" "Oh, well, I do this, this, and that. Then we send off for the check." I said, "So somebody's at home waiting for this check. Oh, this role's important. This role's important." And my sense of urgency through the roof, because when I get that invoice, I got to date stamp it, get it out. They got to do their job, and they got to go somewhere. And I was spitting it out at a high rate of speed. I said, "Murph, you got to slow down. No, y'all need to speed up and process the check like it was yours."
Yes.
You get me? So when we do these jobs, we think, "Oh, I'm just this. I'm just..." No. Anything you are it. Your last name's on the back of that thing. You got to show up because people are watching. When the controller was like, our efficiency and productivity is going up, who's in the mailroom? Hello. You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
just the mailroom guy is now impacting things that impact people abroad. And then this is the same thing I did in the military. Anything I do is how I do everything. I could go to McDonald's tomorrow, Jeremy, and I'll start as the sweeper. Give me 3 months, I'm running the place. I'm coming early, staying late. I want to learn everything everybody else is doing. I'm going to help two up from me, help the guys under me, and then I'll know how to do everything. So when you approach a role like with that takeover mindset, you just got to put in some extra work. Okay, no problem. But it'll pay off. You know what I'm saying? So I think the society today, we're in this immediacy. We want that microwave popcorn immediate. I want to be the boss. Well, can you even spell boss, sir, ma'am? You know what I'm saying? I need you to go through the trenches. You know what I'm saying? I need you to put in some work. I need you to sweat. I need you to fail, understand, and appreciate. Dang, this is what it takes to get there. Yes, hard work. Okay, so I forget our question, but that's how I got from. That was my struggle when I transitioned from the military. That was my struggle. That was my down period. And to your question, I leaned in on my why, and I literally just bet on me because I could have stayed and kind of like just this is life dealt me this deck. This is it. And I always say in life, it's all about choices, team. This is it, and just deal with what it is. Go through hating life, or you can say to yourself, "There's more." Right? There's more. I don't know where it is or what it is, but there's more. I'll share another story that kind of connects. Growing up in the hood, I told you, I seen drug dealers, I seen, crime, teen pregnancies, just a lot of negativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got asked a question by a reporter once. He said, "Well, there's a lot of people in your circumstance. How did you make it out?" And I always say this, anytime your mind is exposed to an experience, an idea, a concept, it expands, and it can never go back to its original state.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch this show. My she was Caribbean. She didn't really play no TV. But I watched Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, Jeremy. Robin Lynch, Champagne Wishes and Caviar Dreams. And Jeremy, I'm watching this, and I see him flying all over, private jets, mansions, yachts. And I'm like, hold on. I go look outside my window. I don't see none of that. Jeremy, I said, there's more. I don't know where it is or how I'm going to get there, but I'm trying to get to that level. And I think that's why reading is good. That's why, talking to people, getting curious. Jeremy, you went from this to that. What happened in the middle? Right? There's the source in the middle. You didn't just get there. Every overnight success is 10 to 15 years. You know what I mean? So get curious when you meet people. Get uncomfortable because nothing grows in comfort. It grows in discomfort. And that's how you get to the next level. But yeah. See, I can talk, huh, Jeremy?
They don't call you Mr. Motivation for nothing. If you're listening and you're watching and you're not motivated, Are you even listening?
Hey,
I don't
listen.
believe that you are. And, and I think you're right. And you said something really important in there. And just like, once you know something, you're responsible for that. And as
Mm.
a responsibility, you get to make a choice. And if you're going to make that choice, then either you're going to stay where you are, which is a choice,
The choice. Yeah.
right? And sometimes I'm like, that's okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's okay as well. But like you, myself, like we've made different choices. We're headed because we've seen other things and we're like, I'm going to go figure out what my version is of that. And that's what
Mm.
I hear you saying. You're not just saying, I want what I saw on that TV show. You're like, I want Shaun's version of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
for me, and my family, right? What
Mm.
does that look like?
Right.
And I, that is so important. And it takes time.
Mm. Listen, I might have quoted that for the last 2 weeks because when you're talking to people, they're like, "Well, Murph, you got a team of 6 people," and this. I'm like, "Bro, it takes time." You know how people I went through to get to an executive assistant that like got me. You know what I mean? A social media people. Like it takes. Oh my goodness, it takes so much time. People. There's a story about the Chinese bamboo tree. I mistell it, but I'm gonna tell my version. And they
Perfect.
talking about, you plant this seed, and then you start watering it, and you're watering it year one. It's just you just watering it. It's nothing happening. Year two, you watering it, and your neighbor's like, "Hey, Jeremy, what the hell you doing over there, Jeremy?" And I'm still watering it. Year four, by year eight, sprouts out 8 to 10 feet, bears the fruit. The story, the takeaway. This is your dream. This seed. You
Mm-hmm.
watering it is the work you're doing, the work you're putting in, the YouTubes you're looking at, the books you're reading, the conferences you're going to. That's the water you pouring into it. You got to pour into that thing. It takes time. Year one, two, three. Neighbors gonna look at you like you boo boo the fool. That's okay. They can't see your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, they can't. It's not for them. But I tell you what, when the tree sprouts out, everybody, hey, Jeremy, man, I've known Jeremy since he started planting this thing. Buddy, where were you? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I encourage you all, dream big. It costs you nothing to dream even bigger. Don't
Right.
don't limit yourself to, okay, I'm in low income situation. I'm on food stamps today. I can't see me owning a 5,000 square foot house or being a real estate investor. Why not? Why not? It just starts with you having that, you know what? I want this thing, that burning desire. Go read Think and Grow Rich. Then you go read Think and Grow Rich, The Black Choice by Dennis Kimbro. And then you're going to start understanding it's more than just, it's the auto suggestion, it's the burning desire, it's the people that you got around you. Like Jeremy said, you're in a circle. All these things start to happen. And once you start thinking about this law of attraction stuff, you start meet people come to you like, oh, listen, I got this thing, and it might help you out. You're like, I just thought about that a month ago. Yes, because you put it in the atmosphere.
Yes.
I want to say it's magic. It's intentionality. That's what it is. It's intentionality. Every day is a blank canvas, listeners and viewers. You are the painter. You are the artist. Paint the life you want. And it's not like just that easy, but it starts there.
I think also as I tie that back into how we started our conversation, as we're doing that, I think it's really important for us to also teach those children, like our children, right? And I will share this story because this happened literally a few hours ago because I was taking my daughter to the airport at 3 a.m., by the way. We were just having this conversation. She's in her early 20s, so a young adult. And she's just like, I can't wait till I've put in enough time to be where you and mom are at.
Mm.
And I'm like, wow, that's powerful. And we've been able to pour into our kids and say, you can do this better. And Shaun, I wish I was at where my kids were at when they're in their early 20s,
Right?
because I would, again, be in a different space today. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful, so blessed, and thankful to even be where we're at, to give
Yeah.
them that opportunity to make that different kind of choice.
Yeah.
It's like what your moms did for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to
Mm-hmm.
do whatever we can do to give them a different version of their life, whatever they choose to do with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've chosen to do your version.
You know, Jeremy, two things. So I was talking to my daughter the other day, and I said, baby, like daddy pours into you. And my daughter's 9, listeners and viewers. And I give you this game, and I don't want you to, I'm trying to protect you from everything. She said, and this is just real. Like, we can't, but that's what I want. Like, I don't want you to have a heartbreak. I don't want you to lose money. And if I can protect you. And she said, Daddy, I appreciate you. She's 9, okay? She said, but I gotta live my life. I
Oh.
said, I know, but
I want that so much for you. And can I always just be the cradle right underneath so that when
right,
you do
right.
fall
Listen,
down, I'll pick you back up.
I tell you, Jeremy, to your point, I didn't really understand like the finance stuff till probably my 30s. And now my son, he's 6. Every other day he say, Daddy, can we check Fidelity and see what my stock's doing? And that mindset, that says at 6. And I'm like, he's gonna be. And I said, listen, I'm probably the only dude in this world that wants you to have 100x more than me.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one in this world is gonna want that for you. I do, and
Yes.
I'm gonna create the foundation for you to just build greatness and build the empire. And these are the conversations we have. Listeners and viewers, I do coaching. I teach two classes at the Quinsigamond Community College. My kids get the lesson first.
Yes.
They get. We do the morning circle, and we go through all the things. And even when I'm prepping to do a talk, they're my first audience. So they're getting this stuff early. And remember, someone asked me, I say, Murph, well, I asked myself, I can't remember, how do you become a dope dad if you didn't see that, right? And I
Mm.
said, I just dreamt what I wish I had, and I 10x'd it. And that's it. You know what I mean? I wish I had someone that showed up. My kids know. Jeremy, I used to drive 2 hours to take my daughter to Dominique Dawes gym. Wait an hour, drive back every Saturday. I'm like, yo, you gonna get everything you need to be great. Now you just gotta put in the work. You know what I'm saying? So between me and wifey, we whatever they need, not the wants, not all the no, the needs. Their needs are met, sprinkle of wants, but their needs to build a foundation. Because you can't build a foundation, you can't build up if the foundation is shaky, right?
Yes.
So, the values, we got the scholars creed, all the things. I used to do this stuff. I'm gonna do a fatherhood book next too, to give some gems in that space.
We should talk after this because I'm also working on a father book.
See how that works? Universe alignment. Look at that.
I love that. I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So you said you just got a new book out in May.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, listeners and viewers, you go to Amazon, check out Unbreakable Valor, Triumph Through the Soul of Resilience. So, backstory, I've taught middle school, all boys middle school in Delaware. Shouts out to Prestige Academy. I've taught high school and in, what's that, Philadelphia. And I've taught college in Lancaster, and Worcester, right? And I found that a lot of our scholars lack clarity. They don't know what they want to do in life, and which is okay, right? But ish, you know, ish.
Ish.
Um, and then I think about my veterans when they come out the military, they lose a sense of that connection, they lose a sense of community. They don't necessarily know what's next. A lot of their identity is tied to service. I'm a Marine. I'm no longer a Marine. I'm no one. I have nothing. I'm like, nah, actually, like you got a lot to offer society. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? We're losing veterans or service members daily due to death by suicide. Like a lot of these things are happening, and so that's a thing, right? I had my Google Docs with just words I put together, and I got to credit my guy. I was doing a talk in where was I? Somewhere in Pennsylvania, and I did the talk. Ron James invited me up, and after we're having a little brunch, and Ron's like, "Hey Murph, where's your book? Your book is your business card."
Yes.
Jeremy, I sat back. I said, huh. Well, since that conversation, I was on a direct path to publishing. Like, did not stop, did not pass go. Like, I was like, this gotta happen. And sometimes people come in your life, and I haven't seen Ron since. I haven't talked to Ron since that day, but I talk about him. But that conversation, that exchange, lit the fire in me to get to publishing this book. So then I took what I was seeing in classrooms, in military, post-military, and I need to share my story, because a lot of times we go through things, but your story could, once told by you and others, could then be the blueprint for someone going through a similar struggle or challenge or setback. And
Mm-hmm.
then they don't have to go through it because they can sidestep the landmines you went through. And that's the beauty of telling your story. So I want to encourage you, if you're dealing with trauma, you're dealing with setback, PTSD, and you just your story, you think it adds value, put that thing on paper. Don't worry about how many pages. Just put it, and you never know who it impacts. I tell you, Jeremy, I probably promote other people's books more than mine. You know what I'm saying? Because I live with the book, The Go Giver. I lead with giving,
Mm-hmm.
because the 6 laws of stratospheric success. The last law is the law of receptivity, where you allow yourself to receive. It's gonna come back. So
Mm-hmm.
I talk about me, yes, but I talk about people. I big them up. I love to do that. So shouts out to Ron James. Shouts out to Jeremy too. But Unbreakable Valor, it's really a blueprint, to how to go next level, how to go from where you are to where you want to be. What's that bridge look like? All right, and it's a lot of reflective stuff. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm not a magician. I'm a guide, right? Motivation got to come from you. I've tried to help people for years, and they don't move. Then 4 or 5 years later, they're like, "Yo, Murph, I'm onto this. I'm doing that." I'm like, "Dang, what happened?" I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But they decided it was time. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that you did when you say decide, right? Because to decide is to end all other possibilities, and that
Mm-hmm.
gives us only the forward to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And that sharing, I mean, that was why I put my book out in 22, and that was the same thing. Like, I have to do this, just
Mm-hmm.
get it out there. And I rarely talk about it, but I do talk about everyone else's books. If you can see in here in my space, I have a bookcase over here. I've actually read all those books. They're not just props. It's not just decorations. I've actually read all those books, because that reading piece is so important to. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to read all these profound books. Just read,
Just
and you're going
read.
to learn, right? And learn from other people.
Yep.
And the power of that story you're telling is so important. I work with authors to do audiobooks, right? Because being in the music space, like, it's one of my favorite things to do. But I had an author in here this year, and she changed my life. And it was through her story. It uncovered some things in me that I'm like, oh my God, I haven't thought about those in 30 years.
Mm.
And I was like, and I could say to that person, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we
Mm-hmm.
don't always get that opportunity, right? We might have a moment of inspiration and something hits us, and we don't get to tell that person thank you. And I've had the opportunity to be like, thank you. And in fact, we were just on a call earlier this week. I said, thank you again,
Mm-hmm.
because it matters.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we might have to tap in, because one of my coaches was just telling me about doing my audiobook. So that's up next for 2026. I gotta get my audiobook done.
You definitely have to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sure you read it.
Yep, yep.
It's the only way.
Okay.
It's the only way.
Yes, sir. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Shaun, I appreciate you today. And I know you had a long drive overnight, and I was up real early doing some driving too. But if there's something that you could leave the audience with today as they round out the end of 2025 and prepare for 2026, what might
Yeah,
that be?
yeah. 3 thoughts, man. Surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. And I always say
Mm,
that no is a rest stop on the way to yes. And lastly, nothing changes if nothing changes.
mm.
Oh yeah.
The silence is the mic drop hitting the floor. And so maybe I'll have the production people throw that in there just for our benefit, because that was so good.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
Shaun, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking some time. I'm glad that we finally made this work. We
Right.
persisted, and here we are. It's a testament to who you and I are, I believe. And
Check.
I'll make sure that we have all your information, how people can get your book, your
Check.
music, how they can connect with you if they want you as a speaker in their space, so
Yep.
that they can connect with you. Because really, that's my goal here, is to make sure people can find you and connect with you, and you can tell your story to even more folks.
Check.
If you're listening or you're watching, I thank you. Thank you for being on this journey. I just encourage you, if you were inspired by one moment today, share it with one person.
Mm.
You can change one person's life just by offering a tool. And even if it doesn't resonate with them, the fact that you actually gave and offered it to them is going to be a change for them. And Shaun packed a lot of nuggets into today, and most of them are about planting seeds and sow
Mm.
them. And as you grow and as you continue to water them, you will see that bamboo tree shoot up. And
Mm.
whatever that dream is for you, you're going to see it and feel it. So again, thank you, Shaun, so much for being with us today. I appreciate you. It sounds like this is not the end of this conversation. Um,
No.
it is only a beginning. So thank
Yes.
you so much.
All right,
Thank you,
brother.
audience. And I will see you all down the road.
Thanks for cruising with me on this episode of Rhythm of the Road. Remember, the journey itself is the destination. Until next time, keep the rhythm flowing, and we'll see you down the road.